Good evening and welcome to Chasing Prophecy on FM 105.3 in New Orleans and 107.7 in New Orleans on UPRN. I just want to say a shout out to all our wonderful people out there this evening. We're all live across the USA and beyond into the outer realm. Just make sure you like us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and don't be scared and shy. We want to hear your comments. So if you want to comment, please comment in the comments. Hopefully on FM, what is it, YouTube. If you sometimes they say we can't see you in Facebook. I never had that problem, but I'm Jennie Nicasio along with my fabulous co-host
Oh,
Shawn Kelly from Pittsburgh Paranormal. Good evening.
good evening. How are we today?
I'm doing, fine and dandy. It's
Fine and
Fat Tuesday.
fine and dandy. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I didn't do no Fat Tuesday today. Um,
No, why
I was
not?
watching. I've been watching my girlish figure. You know what I mean?
Well, I had
Yeah.
keto. I was gonna go off keto and go on Weight Watchers. It seems like all my family's on Weight Watchers and they're doing successful. I can't lose weight. It doesn't no matter how hard I try. I got some, everybody out there. Some people have Hashimoto's. Well, I'm one of those people. Kind of messes up your thyroid, and all I can say is I'm lucky to be here. So,
Well, I'm glad you're here because you're here, and that's all that matters.
Oh, yeah, I'm
It-
happy. I'm excited about the Lenten season, and
Are you?
yes, I
Are you?
am. I'm a
What? That's a good question to ask you. What do you like about Lent?
I find Lent to be very solemn and a time for meditation and prayer and being closer to the Creator. Um, I just like it. So, we're going to talk a little bit about Fat Tuesday today, and we're
Okay.
going to talk a little bit about some of the headlines with Ohio, the toxic fumes that are some saying are actually killing their animals in as far as Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about wonderful Biden, who has not given them any kind of relief because. Um, for whatever reason, he said it doesn't go with their FEMA criteria of a national disaster, natural disaster. To me, anytime a toxic anything is in your environment and you're breathing it in, it can cause some detrimental effects. And I know Aaron Brockovich was contacted about that, and
hmm
she said to take notes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I know that people all will complain. This is not, I just want to get this clear. Pittsburgh Paranormal is a separate entity than Chasing Prophecy. So I just want to make that clear. We discuss anything that is beyond the scope of normal.
hmm
Okay. Anything that's not normal, we talk about. Breathing in chemicals from a train accident is not normal. Um, we can go on and keep talking about things that aren't normal. Living in this kind of woke society is not normal. And if you think it is, you can turn it off. You can turn off the show if you feel that it is. I'm just going to say that. So I want you to, we're going to do a survey. This has nothing to do with what we just said. I want you to keep track of how many times I say okay, because I am
Oh,
trying to quit doing it.
oh, you know what? Listen,
Um, so seriously.
I had for me in my show, I had a jar. And for every time
Oh,
I was
okay.
saying I had to put a quarter in it. And trust me, my listeners were actually.
Yeah, seriously, I wanna see because I'm trying to get away from it because I don't like to say it, and I don't like you like me to say it, and I don't think you wanna hear it.
But you know what? I listened to the sports at Fan
Uh-huh.
93.7, and a lot of the DJs or the people that they have on that do the radio shows, they say a lot.
Well, that's just something that you it seems like when we get older, our thought processes are not the same. Like, my problem is with me, I have dyslexia. I've had that since I was a kid. Second, my brain thinks faster than my mouth
Yes,
and my type when I type. So, I that's a
that's
problem.
how I am. It's like
You said it. You
whatever
said it. You said it.
whenever
You
I'm
said you said
thinking in
it.
my head, whatever I'm thinking in my head that I want to say to you, my mouth comes out with different stuff.
Yeah,
And I
so we
feel
just have
like a
to be
jackass
conscious of it.
sometimes.
We
But
just have to
before we
be
go on, I'm going to make a shout out to all my friends out there at, I hope I spelled this, Chico Bella Salon out there in Monroeville, PA, 1224 James Street. And their phone number is 412-856-5551. And you can contact Lisa Roberts, who is the manager of the store.
good. I need a hairdresser. I've been cutting my own hair for a while.
These girls are good, I'm telling you.
Well, that's good to hear because we need good hairdressers out there for men and
What do you
women.
think about a man doing a pedicure?
Nothing. I think it's wonderful. Especially if you have funky looking feet.
Hi, Lisa. How are you? Oh, you're welcome, hon. And you're going to have another one on my show. Thank you for
Oh,
tuning in.
hi, Lisa. And if you just remember, comment for any questions. We have a paranormal guest tonight, and I was going to read his bio if I can even find it. I had it here. I don't want to screw it up for him, but he is in the backstage. He's in the green room. I just want to make sure I don't mess it up because I have a tendency to do that too.
No, not you.
No, it gets worse
No,
every day. It's like
no.
it's getting worse and worse, and I don't like it, and I get worried because we're getting up there in the aging process. We don't like that one bit. So his name is Jeremy Bryant, and he has his own paranormal radio show, and I should see that, but I don't see it in here, of course. Um, just give me 1 second. We're gonna talk everything paranormal tonight with him. Ghosts, cryptics, anything that he can tell us that we don't, already know. He's from Paranormal, the New Normal. So that's a cool name. Yeah, this is the new normal. So we're gonna talk about everything paranormal and we're gonna bring up some stuff that I did it twice, guys. You're not counting.
I am. I,
I did
I
it 3
am.
times. Okay.
I am.
We're gonna talk about the weather balloon, the UFO balloon. We're gonna talk about disclosure. 4! It seems like the
Yeah.
more I think about, the more I do it. Okay.
Just don't do
Acknow
it. Just talk.
Okay,
Just
well,
talk.
Shawn, I was watching Acknowledge on Amazon Prime this weekend, and I took notes, and I forgot my notes. So, well, we're gonna talk about Dr. Greer and his disclosure when he went to Congress in 2001, I believe, and what he talked about towards the end of the show, which is really scary, and it goes back to Project Blue Beam,
Okay.
alien invasions, and everything. So,
Hmm.
without further ado, let's bring our guest on, Jeremy. Just give me 1 second. Welcome to Chasing
Hey,
Prophecy.
Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you. And it's Project Blue Book.
Ah, Project Blue Book.
Yes.
Well, we were talking about Blue Beam. I don't know. Do you know about Blue Beam?
I can't say I've heard of that one.
Well, you're gonna get an education tonight. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. But tell us about yourself.
Well, I apologize for being a little tardy to the party, but I was hosting on my show a psychic medium slash animal communicator, and She was talking about talking to elephants, and I couldn't pull myself away at that moment. But
Oh, wow. Talking to elephants.
she's talked to a lot of different types of animals, and I definitely will be having her back for a part two because there's so much more I can talk to her about. But
Very interesting stuff.
I am glad to be here because I love talking paranormal with anybody, and my show, as you previously mentioned, Paranormal the New Normal, is I have talked with everybody you can imagine in the paranormal world. I'm always looking for more people to talk to. So
Yeah, well, there's so much stuff going on, and I've read this evening about how this time of the year is there seems to be an increase on paranormal activity. Do you agree with that?
well, put it this way: the one or two ghost orbs in my garage that I catch on camera every once in a while. Last night they multiplied to about 30 or 40. It looked like someone was blowing bubbles in my garage. So
Oh wow! Do you have a portal in that garage?
that's the same thing I just said on my show about it. But I don't know. It's on my TikTok. Anybody wants to go check it out, Juggalo Bastard Podcast on TikTok, go check it out. But it's just I don't know what to think. I really don't. I never lived with ghosts until I bought my house I live in now, and I don't know what to think anymore with what I keep seeing.
Well, I noticed a lot things are going on, and we were even talking about this previously on the show how the sky is changing, and I don't know if it's because of CERN when they turned on CERN. And if you don't know about CERN, start with
Mm-hmm.
it's a kind of a portal device, and they opened it up in Australia, and ever since I don't know why they
Was
did
it
it.
Australia? I thought it was in Germany or no, Sweden. Sweden did
But
Sweden.
it.
there
It's
was
Sweden.
one in Australia too that they turned on.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that one.
yeah, I'll find you the article and I'll show it to you. Yeah, I
All,
don't think it was a very good idea, and I don't know if you agree with me, Jeremy, how they did some kind of demonic ceremony prior
all,
to it.
all I can say is, do you want the upside down? Because this is how you get the upside down.
No, I really don't like being upside down because I don't like all that blood going to my brain. Yeah, there's it's like a vortex, some kind of a vortex, and there's one also. Where is that one in? Is there one in Montana?
Mm,
David
I,
Politis, he talked about the one in I think it's I think it's Montana or is it Wyoming? Does anybody know where that is? If it is,
Wyoming.
please drop it in the comments.
I
I
believe
can't
it's
remember.
Wyoming.
Is it
yeah,
Wyoming?
I think it is Wyoming if I'm not mistaken, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't watch the news.
When you talk about being upside down, that reminds me of the vortex of being upside down. I mean,
Well, when I say the upside down, I'm talking about like Stranger Things type upside down.
oh, you mean like strange? Oh, yeah, like all the demonic
Well,
monsters and stuff.
that's how you open the portals to that is with a super collider. Like, I mean, it's also how you create the flash. So if we get a flash out of this, I'm not gonna be too upset. But
No, we might get one. You never know. I don't think opening any doors to the unknown is a good idea. Even we talk about paranormal and ghosts when they do all that weird stuff. Because I know a couple. I think you mentioned Shawn, the Blair House had those portals.
Bel
Was it the
Air,
Blair
yeah.
Bel
The
Air
Bel
House
Air
had
house,
the
yeah.
portals, and they didn't want you opening new. They didn't want you to
They didn't
close
want you to, no, they did not want you to close them.
them. Okay.
They didn't want you to close the portals down there in the Bel Air house because, investigators will go down there and they just wanted to keep it going,
Yeah,
get
I
some
don't.
more.
It's like, why would you want to open them up?
That was
Somebody has a
a
doggy
lot of
barking.
people do. I mean,
oh, I apologize. My mastiffs are in the basement.
That's
barking.
okay. Those
But
are big dogs. That's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the paranormal world. Not only is there's talk about the Antichrist coming or he's already here. I don't know if you heard anything like that. I mean, a couple of our guests said that they were
I
already
mean,
here.
he's in the White House, but yeah, keep going.
Well, you
oh
know
yeah.
what? We were just talking about this in the beginning of the show of how the people. I'm sure you. Where are you located?
I am in Massachusetts.
Okay, Massachusetts. Now, Ohio, you heard about the train wreck that all the toxic fumes came out from the
I
Chlor-
have now what they were carrying, Lord only knows. But
Yeah, it's what do you call that? It's all over the news. Potassium
It's a long word, but
chloride something.
in short, It's mustard gas.
It's the same thing that they used in World War One and Two, I
Yes.
believe,
Oh,
to
so
kill
mustard gas.
people.
Mustard gas. That makes sense.
Yeah, but they're calling it this name about 25 letters long. And
No, it's only a couple words. Wait, let's see. Chemical in a
but
train.
while she's looking that up, Jeremy, tell me what got you into your podcast.
Well, I started off on one podcast that was like a bracket podcast for pop culture topics, and
Okay.
everybody on that podcast told me, like, you have a voice for podcasts, you have a sense of humor for podcasts. You should start one of your own of something you love to talk about. And since I was a little kid, Bigfoot and aliens have fascinated me. So
Okay.
I used to be that kid that would go to the library on lunch and check out the one book that they had back in the 90s on Bigfoot, Loch Ness, and everything else. So I got into it, and I wanted to start a paranormal podcast because I love the paranormal. I've had some of my dream guests on already in the last 8-9 months since I started the podcast. So
Who was your dream guest? And I'll tell you mine.
my dream guest is well, I've had a couple, but my one, the two I had that I really love are Derek Hayes from Monsters Among Us podcast, because I love his format. I love his voice, but I love him. I love the way he does things. And the other one was Mark Matsky from Small Town Monsters.
Do you like monsters?
Cryptids are what fascinates me the most about the paranormal.
Okay.
Bigfoot, dogmen are my favorite cryptids in the world. I love dogmen, but
Now,
Yeah, I hear him in the back. They're calling. He's calling.
before we go on, I just want to let you know that was vinyl chloride. Okay, that was the
Okay.
chemical. Mine was a couple weeks ago. Was Travis Walton from? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had Travis on.
for Fire in the Sky.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was good. That was my.
I would love to get him.
He's hard, and the only reason why we got him probably because usually he gets paid, was through John Venturi, and he knows him pretty good because John Venturi is one of our co-hosts, but he's running for. What is he running for? Commissioner?
He's a commissioner for something. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I don't pay people. I refuse to pay people to come on my show. I get paid to have people on my show thanks to a certain website. But other than that,
I only get the sponsors, so that's I don't expect anybody to get.
So the dog man. Now out here in Pennsylvania, we have Chestnut Ridge. Okay, they're mountains.
Ooh.
What have you heard about the Chestnut Ridge Mountains?
Well, put it this way, I've had Lon Strickler from Pennsylvania on my show, and I'm sure you know who he is from Fams and Monsters Radio, and
Jennie might know him. I don't.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times.
I had him on my show maybe 4 months ago, something like that. But Pennsylvania, I've heard everything out of Pennsylvania from in those mines, from dogmen, Bigfoot, dragons, like Pennsylvania. He has reports of dragons in the Pennsylvania mines.
Dragons? What's dragons? I never heard of dragons as a cryptid.
First time I ever heard of dragons.
Yeah, I never thought of it as a cryptid.
Well, why wouldn't it be? I mean, it's a creature that had to exist at one point.
Well, isn't it from mythology though? I mean, isn't it just a mythology?
Well, yeah, yes and no, but there are dragons in mythology all around the world. They had to exist at some point. Otherwise, there are dragons mentioned 8 or 9 times in the Bible.
Where are they? I never seen that. Where are you finding it in the Bible? I never seen it in the Bible.
I am not religious. I'm agnostic. I'm not a religious man by any standpoint. But
okay.
But there actually was a podcast I listened to years ago called "Dragons in the Bible," and he points out all the points where there's dragons and other paranormal stuff in the Bible. But there are dragons in the Bible. Like, they may not call them dragons, but they're creatures they describe that basically are what we would call dragons. Like the Leviathan is technically a dragon by means. So, I mean,
so what that dude was telling you, this podcast that you listened to, that anything that was, like you said, Leviathan and other type of creatures, it was a dragon, correct?
I never met this guy. I don't hold much stock in his podcast, but the fact that dragons have been renowned throughout Asian mythology, British mythology and a bunch of other mythology as well in South America and I'm pretty sure Africa as well. Like there has to be dragons somewhere in history, and why wouldn't they still exist? I mean, is it really that hard to think? Like they would?
I
Like
I believe you. I believe
There's a
something.
couple sketch. This is a sketch of a dogman. If you've never seen one before, and if you have the video and you're not listening on the radio, this is a picture of one.
ooh,
Kinda
I mean, yeah, and I actually had D.A. Roberts, one of the directors of the North American Dogman Patrol. I forget NADP. I always forget the P stands for, but I had him on my show as well, and he's been to the land between the lakes in up in Wisconsin, where dogmen are most prevalent.
Mhm.
Well, not most prevalent; they're all over the country, but it's where they're famous. Is the beast? The beast of the land between the lakes has been known to. There was a famous case, I think, back in the 80s or 90s, where a family was slaughtered in a cabin up there, and
Mm.
they literally found the body of a little girl hanging from a tree.
Oh,
And
jeez.
no serial killer would do that. No murderer would do that. They're not gonna take the effort to go throw the body in the tree.
Mhm.
Right.
And he said, D.A. Roberts said on my show, he's like, in the first part, you see roadkill, you see squirrels and whatnot running around, but you get to the second part of Land Between the Lakes, there's nothing. It's dead silent. You don't see any roadkill. You see nothing, and you
Mhm.
are creeped out immediately.
Oh
And
wow.
he,
Now, would Dogman be considered a werewolf, or are there two separate entities?
there's a lot of debate in that topic, and personally, I hate the word werewolf, but I'm actually coming around on that because, from what I've been told by the experts on the subject, there may be two different types. I mean, there's also the Rougarou down in New Orleans, that area,
Mhm.
and maybe there are a type of dogmen that are considered werewolves and actually hold steady to the werewolf lore that we all know and love from horror movies. Whether that's
Okay.
true or not, of course I can't tell you because I never met a dogman. I mean, I'm still alive, so I assume I definitely haven't met a dogman. But if you go to the NADP website, there are sightings and reports of dogmen all over North America, Canada, on that side alone. And I know there are sightings over in Europe and Asia as well. I mean, the beast of Godevon from France back in the 1800s is believed to be a dogman. So, I mean, it's just there's so many sightings of dogmen in the world out there. Like we did them on one of my shows, Global Strangeness. We did a whole episode devoted to dogmen because it was my choice and it's my favorite topic.
Mhm.
And like there are so many sightings of people like being chased back to their cars by this creature, and they get their cars and they see it run by as fast as a lightning bolt, and it's a dog, but it can walk on two legs.
Okay. Now, if John was here, our other co-host, he could say, "Is it could possibly just be an alien that the people are looking at?"
See, I have a theory that I throw forth on my show on Paranormal Normal a bunch of times. I throw it on other shows as well. I have a theory that Earth is a prison planet for an intergalactic order of alien species, extraterrestrial species, kind of like Star Trek or Duke from Futurama. Take your pick of what sci-fi you want to copy from. But basically, any species they deem dangerous or they don't want to deal with, they put on Earth, maybe even including humans, and that would explain Bigfoot, Dogmen, Chupacabra, and so many other cryptids out there in the world. And all the UFOs we see in the sky are prison wardens.
I'll be damned.
Hmm.
That I. You know what? I'm not going to knock you on that situation because yeah, because think about it, right? If because when there's ever a lot of when there's Bigfoot sightings, there's a lot of UFOs that hang around.
Mm-hmm. Either they're dropping off a new prisoner or they're just checking up on one that's been here for a while.
Yeah, because I watched some of them Bigfoot shows and stuff and read up on some, and we had Bigfoot people here on our show, and it seems like when there is a sighting of a Bigfoot, right? They go for it, they go track it or whatever, go, and it's right by, and all of a sudden it disappears. You know what I
Which
mean?
I mean, a lot of people are going to tell you that. I mean, Lon Strickler was one of the people that like said this to me, and I kind of can lend some credence to it. I kind of can believe it that he believes Bigfoot and Dogmen are ultra terrestrial, which means they travel between dimensions, and that's why they can vanish at a moment's notice when they're caught,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. I tend to believe I can believe both. I really can, but I think Earth is a prison planet is just a cool freaking theory. So I kind of tend to lean towards that one. But I mean, honestly, we know literally nothing about these creatures. I mean, the government does. The government definitely does, but they're just not going to admit it to the next big crisis like COVID.
True.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's
go ahead, Jen.
go. No, you go ahead.
I just got lots of questions that just popped up into my brain. My son is a
Go for it.
microbiologist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all I know, because whenever he talks to me, he talks like big words and I don't understand them. But he works at a company that makes genes, Genes, okay? And if he can make genes, I'm sure as hell the government can make the wolf man.
Yeah,
Um,
I was like on that documentary Acknowledged, they were talking about that, like that there's this society that it's like a shadow society, and they have already done that. They've already cloned because they already had the
Well, I
sheep
mean,
that they cloned, and they
Dolly,
cloned
yeah.
not they've spliced with, like your son was talking, just a gene therapy, different hybrids, and they created, according to Dr. Greer, he said that they have created. That's when we're going back into Project Bluebeam that I'm going to talk about for a few minutes with our guests, that they've spliced and created these creatures that look like they would be from outer space. And they're not. The government or the shadow government actually made them. And that's what's scary, because there's so many people talking about this a fake alien invasion. As soon, like they said, 2024, that they got, like, they've already shot down not one but two, three. How many UFOs have they claimed they shot down that could be like, China or Russia? Is it 4 or 5 different balloons that they shot down?
something like that, I think.
Because they're planning on doing a simulated or fake alien invasion, and they have the technology to do it with Project Bluebeam, Jeremy. And they can make like unknown crafts disappear and morph into other, but they're not real. They're just it's this technology that they have, sort of like CGI that they're using.
Like
So they've already done it.
projectors, kind of. Yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah, like a projector, but I think the conspiracy theory started by a Canadian gentleman or journalist, Sergey Munstead. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and he started that back in the 1990s, and they've been planning this for years, and it's because they want to control us somehow. And going back to the Dogman and Bigfoot, like, how do we know that this isn't some kind of a CGI or Project Bluebeam and that? Because they
Well,
can make it seem like it
I'll,
is.
I'll tell you why it's not. Because I had a guest on my show on the third or fourth or fifth episode of my show, Christopher Susi. He was in the military, and this is unrelated, but he saw/heard the devil 3 times. But he told me a different story besides that wasn't by himself. One of his military mates or someone else in his unit, they were in Egypt, and he saw a statue of Anubis, the Egyptian dog god. And he freaked out, and he said, "What is that? What is that?" And they're like, "That's an ancient Egyptian god." He said, "I saw that creature twice in my childhood," and he grew up in New Orleans, which is the Rougarou territory. So, and why do you think that Egyptians, that Aztecs, and multiple other civilizations had dog humanoid gods? Because the dogmen have existed since the beginning of time, just like Bigfoots.
Well, isn't it the same as the Akhenaten? Is that how you say it?
I know what you mean.
The giants.
The Those
Ano-
aliens.
the Anokis,
Anakis. I
the
can't.
Anakis, yeah, the Anakis,
Anakis.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the ones
Well,
that
the
don't talk.
Sumerians too. There's a lot of speculation too
I mean,
that we
e-
are the descendants of the
well,
Sumerians in them.
I mean, even Bigfoot, the most ancient epic story from Mesopotamia, Gilgamesh. His best friend, oh, I forget his name now. God damn it, it's a hilarious name. Inaduk, something like that. His best friend, the way they describe him in the story, could be a Bigfoot or a dogman.
Hmm.
Like these ancient texts that have nothing to do with religion, but just these ancient texts describe creatures that are like Bigfoots and dogmen. And the alien saucers drawn on cave walls before we could even come out of the caves. Like,
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying that there are. Truly believe there are species or races from different worlds out there, but the government is trying to. They're trying to use their technology to simulate or fake an alien invasion in 2024. And the first thing they're going to do is start with they're going to cause earthquakes. And they do have a weather machine. Some people call it HARP. It's not the kind that's dealing with, not that kind. This is a HARP is a weather simulator that
yeah,
when we have all. It seems like there's terrible weather. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There's terrible weather when there's something being distracted from what's going on. Like it could be something that a president did that was wrong. He's in trouble, criminal charges, and they all of a sudden you have this huge earthquake or huge tsunami or huge hurricane that gets our distractions, or sort of like a train wreck too, to
Yeah.
make us
well,
not so to
put it this way.
distract us.
Put it this way. Where was this machine when Bill Clinton was in office? But
Well,
that's
there
what I'm saying.
was, though they did have some. I know there was something going on with Bill Clinton. If I can't, I'll have to go back and research that. But they're going to try to do this, and then they're going to have this mammoth style light show in the sky. With they already had the light show not too long ago. They had the. I don't know if you heard about the different lights in the sky, and then there was a meteor that hit the Earth. Remember we were talking about that, Shawn? But
Yep.
just recently there was a meteor that hit.
Well,
They're going to do that. And then they're even going to try to have the second coming of Christ. It's not going to be Christ. And it even
well,
says it in the Bible to beware of false false
well,
things.
one, as an agnostic human being, I don't lend my hand to any religion, but I can believe parts of all of them. But who's to say Christ was an alien to begin with?
Oh,
And
we're going to go back to what I've said a number of times on the show. That's what I truly believe that he was. And that's what they
and
were talking about, the Anunnakis, that they think that that's Christ. Christ.
all
This.
I am a firm believer in that all ancient aliens, I mean all ancient gods, whether they be Norse, Asian, South American, African, pick your Greeks, like Roman, like pick your gods that you love. They're all aliens of some kind, either
Mhm.
animal-looking ones or they're the Norse gods, which were basically all the Norse gods. I mean, I and if you think the government doesn't know about aliens, you're freaking out of your mind.
Oh
Valiant,
no, yeah, they're the ones that create. I'm telling you, they've had some that do.
have you heard of Valiant Thor?
Yes, we've had a Valiant Thor in 1950s. Yeah, we've talked
Oh
about
my
him a number of
God.
times.
We
He's one of
talked
my
about
favorite.
it.
He's one
Yes.
of my favorite characters in all this.
Oh
I
my
even read the book
God.
about
Yeah.
I mean,
the president, the visitor in the White
I,
House.
I believe it was Eisenhower, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong,
Yes,
but
yes, you're right. No, I
and
believe that.
his daughter said recently, before she died, that it was all true. That
Oh
she met
no.
him.
Definitely, I believe it's true. And you know what? You should watch Acknowledge that Dr. Greer talked about. There was a number of different. I wish I had my notes. A number of different people that actually seen these creatures at Roswell. There was four of them. One was badly mangled. They were about
Yep.
4 feet. They had four fingers with suctions on them. They had no ears that they could see. They had huge eyes, but they also had. They thought that's what we were getting a couple of times on the show. We talked about people saying that they look nude, but they had like a some kind of a like a
Silver
suit
body suit.
on, a real
Yeah.
thin layer. It looked like almost skin, but it was a suit. and they found the craft, and they said there was no visible control panels that they knew of. There was something that they used their minds to control the controls, like it was cylinder. There was no visible hand. What do you call them? Like controls, like steering wheels or like a cockpit. There wasn't anything like
Well,
that.
I'll tell you this. This Saturday, actually, on my show, actually, wait, what the heck? Oh, actually, no, not this Saturday. Tomorrow, the episode of Paranormal the Normal releasing. I have a guest on, Jon Stewart. No, not the Green Lantern, but he's a former pro wrestler, former senatorial candidate, and he has done a lot of groundbreaking research into an alien autopsy video that appeared in the 90s, and he has me fully convinced that he knows what happened there, and that he has talked to multiple people who were in the video too. And back then, there was no CGI, no faking that. They couldn't make a bodysuit to fake that. So
Yeah.
I 100% believe that he knows what he's talking about, and his passion is unmatched. Like,
Yeah.
I fully tell everybody to go listen to this episode tomorrow, because it's going to be mind blowing.
I remember when Geralda that was doing the fake alien autopsy. Was that years ago? We all watched it. It was fake. But here's a short video on TikTok. I believe this is a TikTok video on the CGI project. Let me put the sound on so you guys can see that.
Or some sort of world hoax to
These
scare us into giving up our freedoms and security.
dolphins and whales. This is an
and they'll
audience like
protect us
they
as long
did.
as
This is
we
all fake.
release
That's what it
our
looks like.
freedoms and our rights. And they'll have more control and more surveillance over us. So we'll have much more of an Orwellian society. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, subscribe and I will make more for you.
Do you see how realistic that looks?
What you're seeing here is Project Bluebeam, high-level advanced holographic projection.
So you saw that in the sky. You would think it was a
4D.
real like.
You can't touch them, but they see.
But they use spaceships, and they're going to use like Christ, and they're going to use. You could like a lot of people see. They say they see angels. They're not really there. There's just that CGI shit.
Angels were aliens as well, according to everything I've been told.
Oh yeah, there's like John Bentry believes that most of them are fallen angels. They're demonic in nature. But I truly
I'm
believe,
right there with you, Jeremy. They're not
no.
demonic. Me and him will fight.
Yeah,
I duke it out with them.
I mean, I had Dr. Hugh Ross on my show a couple weeks ago, astrophysicist, and he tried telling me that anybody that's been abducted by aliens, it's because they embrace the occult, such as heavy metal music.
Yeah, that's
crazy. I literally had to like hold back laughing while he was on, but I didn't want to laugh because he's an astrophysicist. He earned his right to talk about it, but still, I mean, just because someone uses a Ouija board or listens to Iron Maiden doesn't mean they're going to get abducted by aliens.
No, not at all. It's just amazing how some of these people think that those are all demonic. I've seen angels before. I've talked to them actually. I don't think that I know I'm not crazy, but I don't think they're demonic. I mean,
I don't either. I think they're celestial, which means they're of space, and which means they're an alien species or an extraterrestrial species, as however you want to put it. I mean, I don't believe there's a big bearded white guy in the sky that with a magic finger. Like I can't put faith in that. I can't. But
no, I think it's like a big massive ball of energy. I don't think he can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to show off in a different,
The future, the one that Bender met in Futurama. Yeah, I can get behind that. And actually, AJ Capasso from Talking with the Source podcast was on my show in the beginning too. And he had a near-death experience, and that's what he saw was like a big ball of energy in the sky that talked to him. So I can 100% buy into that. Like that I can believe, because I just don't believe in the whole, oh, he's a big bearded white guy. Like I can't.
No, and you know what? I think you get to see who you want to believe. If you see something that, Wait, we're kept getting background noise. I think if you do pass on to the next level, you are allowed to see who you want to see. If God is a big, great, huge ball of energy, and you want to see him as an old man or an old black woman, like on the Shack, that be so it. Go ahead. I think
Well,
that's what
yeah.
it gives you the opportunity. But going back to what you said about God, Jesus Christ as being an alien, that's what I always told. I told Shawn, I've said it a number of times on the show. I think I said it a dozen times. When God created the heavens and the earth, he created different like
Species.
races, species of mankind that he wasn't happy with. And so instead of destroying it, he sent him off into a different galaxy. And
He destroyed
then
he destroyed them too. I mean, the
well, I
Nephilim.
don't think he got rid of them. I think he didn't want to get rid of them. I think he figured I made them. I don't want to destroy them. So instead of destroying them, he put them on a different galaxy, different universe.
Dimension, a different dimension.
Yeah, different dimension.
I mean, the Nephilim that he supposedly got rid of with the Great Flood that Noah survived.
The Nephilims, the adult giants.
Yeah, I mean, but yet we find giant burial mounds all through the United States that the government comes and confiscates the bones of immediately.
Yeah.
And we also supposedly see videos of giants in Canada, in Russia now. Like, it's insane. Like, the amount of, we did giants on Global Strangers, I think we did at least. I don't know. I lose track of what we do because Global Strangers is my podcast that we do with my two co-hosts where we literally just drink and talk about paranormal stuff. So it's a lot of we forget what we talk about half the time. But it's a fun show to watch.
I might have to check that out.
It's on YouTube. It's a fun show to watch. But
so what is your whole feeling about giants and everything? What is your in the heart feeling that you feel what the hell's going on?
Well, I don't believe in. I mean, giants could be an alien species, or we could be the alien species. They could have been here originally. We could have been put here by other alien species because we were bad to planets, which we already proved we are. But I mean, we polluted how much of this planet already? Like, we're destroying the oceans, we're destroying everything on this planet, and I'm not even like a ecologist, like left leaning like person like that, but we have destroyed this planet, and I'm a freaking conservative, and I can say that we've destroyed this freaking planet, and we are not a good race. I don't believe we're a good race at all. We are horrible. Just go on any social media site and watch people, and we're not a good race. But so, are we from an alien? Are we aliens that got kicked out of a universe already? Possibly. Or did we evolve here? Possibly. I mean, there's so many possibilities. Who the hell knows? Darwin could have been right, for God's sake. But funny how I say God's sake. But the way I see it, it's just we don't know. We're never gonna know until extraterrestrials come and give us the answers, which they may already be here. Reptilians supposedly have underground LA City, supposedly, and supposedly they're running the government with the Illuminati, supposedly.
Do you think they're going to come in peace?
I think they're already here. They've been here for thousands of years, and they're not going freaking anywhere. But I mean, are they going to see? I think. Have you heard the theory that? Well, not the theory, but the guy who wrote the Predator movies, his father worked for the government, and supposedly he wrote those movies based on technology that he already knew existed from his father, that extraterrestrials on Earth had. So, and then there's this whole Glimmer Man thing that's come up in the last 5-10 years. So, I mean, it's all too close in conspiracy to me to not be true. But so I think the aliens have been here, extraterrestrials have been here for thousands of years, and they're not going anywhere. They're the peaceful ones, though. I mean, reptilians, and they're supposed to be the evil ones. I don't know what to believe with them, but I think they run Scientology.
Well, people have told me on our show that the King and the Queen of England, they're reptilians.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
I
Honestly.
just think I go back to one of our first shows. I think that what was the one woman, I can't remember her name, but she said that Prince William was the Antichrist.
Yeah,
I
Do you
mean,
remember that?
yeah.
I've heard Prince William, I've heard Prince Harry, I've heard Joe Biden, I've heard Trump. Like I've heard everybody's the Antichrist.
I
I mean,
guess
Biden,
people. Go
Biden
ahead,
smells
sir.
babies though. Biden smells babies like constantly. So that to me kind of that
he,
to me
he smells them.
and that to me kind of says like an Antichrist would do that because they want to smell innocence. So
Innocence.
they get off on it. So I mean, they would smell babies.
Well, I love smelling babies.
But you're
Just
that's a motherly instinct though. That's not an old man being creepy.
oh
Yeah.
wow.
I don't know. I mean, I can go on and think about going on off into different directions.
I mean, but then again, is there such a thing as an Antichrist? Who the hell knows? Like, is any of that real? It could all be stories written by humans to try to get people to follow them. That's all. It could be.
Exactly.
There was a movie on Netflix, but they canceled it. It was called The Messiah. I just thought that was so good. I wish they wouldn't have canceled it because it was really good.
I mean, the whole idea of there being an Antichrist and the devil and demons and all that. I mean, I believe demons could exist. I don't like to call them demons. They're underworld creatures in my mind.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's evil entities out there. They could be ultra-terrestrial. They could be extraterrestrial. Who the hell knows? They definitely exist, but I don't think they're coming out of hell. I don't think there's some magical land of fire and evil beneath us. Like I don't. If they're coming from anywhere,
It's a different dimension.
But
It's-
I mean, I don't
it's
think we
not-
go there.
It's not down below. It's just a different. In fact, it's probably so close to us that we could probably
Smell
touch it.
sulfur.
Yeah, we could just.
I mean, I don't think if we die and we were bad, we're going anywhere. If we die and we were good, we're not going anywhere. I mean, a lot of mediums and psychics have told me that after we die, there's a place in our dimension somewhere where it's basically a waiting room, like the DMV.
I'll go ahead, finish, and I'll put my 2 cents in.
And they say you're basically either waiting to be reincarnated on Earth in another human built body, or if you reached your purpose, you can extend to somewhere we don't even know exists yet.
What they're trying to tell you is a word called purgatory. Now,
Mhm.
I had a priest in my group when I first started, and I sat down with him on an investigation, and I asked him, "Is there really a purgatory?" He looked at me dead in the eye and he said, "No, there isn't. There is not a purgatory. It was taught to us in the Catholic Church or whoever taught us in order to scare us, thinking if we committed a sin of some sort, right, that we're going to go to purgatory and we're there for life." My theory, if you want to know, we're living in hell.
Yeah, that's what I don't think we're living.
We are
in hell.
no,
Because
we are Jen.
because
We-
there's good here.
all the
There's
bad's
good.
all
You
li-
see it every day. There's the bad too. So that's more like
Ah.
Ton of
purgatory
bad.
because
There's a ton of bad.
purgatory is supposed to be good and bad.
Well,
Well, I don't know,
put it this
but
way.
I believe
Put-
that this is hell, and I'm going to a better place when I die.
Put it this way. I have a 5 and 8-year-old. I can believe this is hell. I can believe it. I don't know if you got kids, but I can believe it because of that alone.
I had one that's 32.
Ah, he's
That's
only 2 years
cool.
younger. He's only 2 years younger than me then, but
But
I
I've been
have
there where you're at. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Jeremy Bryant. He is the host of Paranormal, The New Normal. So if you'd like to have a question or, join in the conversation, right now we're talking about heaven and hell and purgatory. And if you want to join in, if you have a comment or question, please post it in the chat so we can, have a good discussion.
Yeah, that'd be because
please, I love comments from the audience.
It's funny. It's funny how we can get into a good debate about this because there's so many different people's views on heaven and hell and death, but there's been so many people who crossed over and came back and said there is a hell.
I've had one of them on my show, and I've also had people who had NDEs and near-death experiences, and they were sitting in a dark room. One of them was sitting in a dark room, talking to a shadow in a light doorway for days before he decided he wanted to stay on Earth for a while because he had more to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had other NDEs too, where one I already told you about, where he talked to a giant ball of energy and decided to stay on Earth because the ball of energy told me he had more to accomplish.
Yeah.
So, but I also believe you see when you die what you want to see. You said earlier, I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
It's all about perception. It's all about what you want to believe.
We have a comment here.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven and hell are vibrational states of mind. Our perceptions of the external world are reflections of our internal mindsets.
True.
Yeah.
What you believe defines everything about you. Even while you're living, like
Mhm.
if you want to be a narcissistic person and walk out your front door and say, "Oh, my neighbor's evil. My neighbor over there is evil," like you're gonna believe what you want to believe. But if you try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, then you may not think everybody's evil. Like it's all about what your mind tells you. It's just what your mind tells you.
Well, there is a lot of evil in the world, and there's
I mean,
so
pedophiles,
much
serial
evil, and
killers, murderers.
there has
Yeah,
to be consequences for this evil. I don't think that if you just go around killing people and raping children, and
I mean,
you're going to go to heaven, or if there's a celestial place where there's goodness, and I
or
don't think
worse.
they're going. I think they're going to the dark side.
Worse. What if you go nowhere? What if you go nowhere?
I don't believe that. I just can't believe that we all have a soul. I don't think that we just cease to exist. I think
Or
there is something out there that's beyond what we can comprehend.
Ah, I like that one from Kevin. I like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
I like
mean,
that one.
As you said, though, I mean, you said we're living in hell.
Yep.
What if you're a pedophile, if you're a rapist, if you're a murderer, what if you have to come back to here constantly, over and over again, to come back to Earth because we're living in hell?
Hmm.
And eventually you have to learn a lesson.
Right.
I
Hey,
mean,
Kevin.
it's
Yeah.
like Groundhog Day.
Kevin, is that a book that you written? Secrets of the Egyptians?
If it is, I want to read it. But
And if it is, I'd like to have you on the show. If not this show, my show, other show, In the Know. I like hearing about Egyptians. I used to believe in the Egyptian curses. Remember the archaeologists? Oh, Kevin, then I definitely have to hook you up. I want you to drop me a private comment, and we can get you on the show. Give me your contact information. Remember the Egyptians when the archaeologists went into the tombs and they were cursed?
the Curse of King Tut, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that when archaeologists do go in to a tomb or some sort,
Yes.
that they
Oh,
do get
yeah.
cursed?
Because they weren't regular pharaohs. They were extraterrestrial.
Anunnakis.
Yeah, exactly. They were extraterrestrial in some means or some race. They could have been Palladians for all we know. Who knows? But
I'm not really. I really don't understand the Egyptian stuff. So that's a brand new topic.
Well, that's
for me.
another thing. I don't think the Egyptians were capable of making those pyramids themselves. They had to have some help.
yeah, I mean the fact that they say with enough slaves you can do that, I'm like, I don't believe that for a second. You had ships.
The design of
moving
them.
shit.
No, it's I don't think they. I think they
But
had
I mean,
help.
I don't
I
know.
think
To
they
me,
definitely had help.
it's a whole thing. I mean, I just recently had two people on my show. One episode has come out already. One episode's coming out. The first episode is a man who has put a lot of research into Atlantis, and he thinks he proved where Atlantis is or was, or at least the central city of it. Because Atlantis was the first democracy. They had nation states all over the world, but including America. But I also had another man named Tim Kelly on who wrote a book
No
called
relation.
no relation, but he wrote a book called The Hidden History of Humanity.
Oh, okay.
And he touches on Atlantis as well as Lemurians, Egyptians, Greeks, everything from ancestry to us, basically. So I mean,
yeah, that's like really, really interesting. So, Jenny, if we're going to have people who talk about Egyptian stuff, I'm going to have to start studying that.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to get his book and read it.
gonna have to start walking like an Egyptian.
Is your book available on Audible?
If not Audible, I'm sure Amazon Kindle.
But this is a very fascinating show. I'm really enjoying what you are telling me and Jenny and our guest.
I mean,
I really am. And I really didn't know where this show was going to go tonight, and I'm telling you, I'm impressed. You know,
I've talked to so many different people in different aspects of the paranormal that I have so much going on in my head at all times about paranormal stuff that I'm constantly changing my opinion on things because it's just there's so much information out there that you don't know what you believe until you hear something new that you never haven't heard before.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it just proves my thing whenever we discuss something where someone comes up with a story that we know right now, and they wrote a book about it, and then they got it from here, got it from there, and they take it all the way back, all this freaking information, right? Where did the original person find all this stuff? Do you know what I mean there, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean it's either A, they were the Einstein/Newtons of their generation, and they could figure things out, or it's all extraterrestrials that were able to lead the way. I mean, one of my favorite book series as a child was My Teacher is an Alien. And it was a trilogy or book series, but eventually what it came down to was Albert Einstein and a bunch of other scientists throughout history were extraterrestrials wearing human masks, and they helped create everything, including television and everything else. So, I mean, that kind of led me to my paranormal path to begin with, was that book series. I mean, Animorphs, like, pick one of your book series from the 90s that had to do with aliens, and it led me down this path of what I believe. Because these people are not writing these books just for child imagination and wonderment. There's something behind them, I believe. I mean, even if they don't know there is.
Well, even like Grimm's fairy tale.
Thank you.
Demonic.
Yes. In a way,
they're terrible, but every single one of them is bad.
I mean,
Rumpelstiltskin and
I think Rumpelstiltskin was Loki, which was an extraterrestrial to begin with.
Oh wow!
Or even like the witch in the gingerbread house.
I don't
Hansel
know about
and Gretel. She was a
I don't know about
pedophile. And she probably was a pedophile, and she took little kids and she ate them. Or like those demonic. A lot of people think that the entertainment field, like Epstein and all them, they did like Lady Gaga. They did these animal ritual babies, and they drink the blood of babies to say.
I mean, people say Rihanna's performance at Super Bowl this year because she was wearing red. And because she did the Illuminati symbol at one point.
Yeah, well, she was sickening. I mean, she was gross. She's pregnant and doing all that gyrating and grabbing her crutch and.
I mean, it's an act, one, but two, it's. I mean.
Well, what about the Grammys? What about the one with the horns?
That's just Lil Nas being Lil Nas, I think, or no, that was Sam Shepard, or whatever the hell his name is. But I don't follow. It's funny.
I don't follow any of that, but it goes back. There's a lot of people that think that these
I saw Facebook videos on it, but I mean, it's just
the conspiracies about drinking the blood of babies goes back to Dr. What was that, Doctor? Come on, help me here. What's that movie?
It goes back to Elizabeth Bathory back in the 13th or 14th century. Whatever.
Yeah, she killed all the.
She killed virgins because she thought her bathing in their blood would make her younger.
Make her, wouldn't
But,
make her grow
I
old.
mean, the bottom line is there's always going to be some sick fucks out there. That's the bottom line. Like, there always is going to be. But,
Well, that movie Doctor Sleep. That's
oh,
basically what she did was suck the she would
that's the Shining part 2. I mean,
yeah,
come
I
on.
know,
Like,
but sucking the essence of a child made her young.
well, I mean,
And that's what some of those entertainers thought that they would there's a
I
lot
mean-
of conspiracies about that. That's
I
a
mean, that's what Hocus Pocus was about too. But it's just at the end of the day is like it's just there's people make movies about that stuff because they think they know it's going to make money. That's why they make movies about that stuff.
well, not there's a lot of celebrities that probably do that. How do they they had to sell their soul to the devil to get what they wanted. I mean, there's a lot of those ones that had a year there was actually a movie called A Year at the Top, and they sold their soul to the devil so they'd have 1 year at the top.
I mean, we just did a conspiracy theories bracket on my show Paranormal because every month I do a bracket.
I love conspiracies. That's what this was supposed. We had like
Then
some shows on conspiracies. Not a lot.
well, then I tell you, go to my show and listen to that conspiracy theory bracket because we hit on 34 different conspiracies in that episode, but including a lot of the ones we talked about here. But I mean,
What about the Mandela effect? Did you hit on that one?
We might have. I also don't remember, but I mean, the Mandela effect to me, I think I might have left it out because to me it's not conspiracy, it's real, but it's fact. Because I actually saw a picture on Facebook the other day where Bernstein Bears, someone had VHS tapes spelled both ways in their hands.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't believe the Mandela effect is a conspiracy. I think it's real. I mean, I remember that movie with Shaq, Kazam. I remember it happening when I was a kid. Like,
I remember the movie. I never saw it.
I mean, I saw it when I was a kid because I grew up in the 90s. Like, I remember seeing it, but people are saying it's not real.
Yeah.
Like,
What's the movie that you saw? That you thought you saw?
It's Kazam, I think. I think that's what they call it. I remember seeing it though. I mean,
And it never was a movie?
supposedly,
You just thought it was?
supposedly it's. I mean, I forget if it's Sinbad or Shaq.
Sinbad.
I forget which one's in the original that actually supposedly happened, but it's I think there was a movie called Shazam.
Was it really Puff the Magic Dragon?
Yeah.
Oh my!
And Puff
That
the
song- that
Magic
song- that's-
Dragon
that song's
by
100% real.
the sea. That's a
mean,
real show?
Yeah, I've seen clips of that.
What's
show
the
on
one
YouTube.
where the kid fell down a hat? What was it
Oh,
called?
Alice in Wonderland.
No,
Alice
it
in
wasn't
Wonderland.
No, it was another one. I think it
not
was a
sure.
hat. A big
I mean,
hat.
It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, but I mean,
Puff-
I also don't know.
Who is that? I look good
It's
as a
probably
brunette.
Joe. Joe.
But I mean, we did
Thank you.
we did a conspiracy theory bracket, and we touched on everything from the Illuminati to the 27 Club to everything else out there. I mean, we even touched on Robert Johnson, the soul singer who sold his soul to the devil.
There was something about that.
What up, Anthony? My boy from Texas Wraith.
Yeah, Anthony's cold dude, man. He was on my show the other night. But
I've been trying to get him on my show. He hasn't messaged me back about getting on, but
well, there's your opportunity right there, my friend.
he messaged me originally, so I'm trying to get him on. But
But you know about that guy you just brought up. I don't know. Ozzy Osbourne and his son Jack, they go traveling, right?
Yeah.
And then they actually went down to, I think is it Mississippi that all happened at? And they talked to a guy whose grandfather knew that guitar player,
Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson, and he said this guy that they talked to believed that he really wasn't, he did not make the deal. They just put that into the story to make the story really out.
Then what happened to him? Why did he die so soon?
Why? Who knows? Maybe he had a heart attack or an aneurysm or something like that back then. And he
I mean, back then it also could have been racism that killed him, for God's sake.
That's
But
a
who knows?
possibility.
That's true.
But I mean, it's just And he actually came close to winning the bracket. Honestly, I think I know who won. But I'm not going to say it on here because I want people to listen to the episode. But we do bracketary month. We do bracketary month on our show. We have a serial killer one coming up this month.
Oh, really?
We're going to take a little quick break to shout out to Carnation for sponsoring the second hour of Chasing Prophecy. Thank you, Carnation. Make sure you get some breakfast essentials or some Carnation instant breakfast mix or evaporated milk and make some brownies. Thank you, Carnation. Yeah, there's so many things we could talk about right now. Let's stop the music. Why don't we? There's so many conspiracies. I am a conspiracy theorist at heart. I like to talk about them. I think I was all into all the I won't say the word, but you know what I'm talking about during the election and the 2020 election. And
would you like to hang around for the second hour, Jeremy, and talk what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, we're going to talk about, you're more than welcome to hang around. We're going to
Please
talk
do.
about the some conspiracies we already talked about one, and we're going to have we have a call-in number for people who are worried about the train wreck in East Palestine, Ohio, and they're worried about their water, about their air, about their pets.
Sure.
And,
I mean,
okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
I mean, for me, I think it's what the government's doing is just so full of shit. I'm sorry for my language, everybody, but that's how I feel. Think about it, right? They had a control fire on that chemical, correct? And a day later, they came back and they said, you know what? Your water is good to drink. Okay. Yeah, they did. They said you can drink your water. And they're like, you got to be kidding me. You got all these freaking chemicals all over the place down there. And it hit Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It hit Pittsburgh, and it just really irates me that our government ain't doing jack schmack about the damn thing. It pisses me off.
Our government don't do shit about anything.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I switched over to my other speakers. If you guys in the audience listening on the radio or on Facebook, YouTube, Roku, if you are concerned or have any questions or comments regarding this, please call us in at 724-623-2296 because we're going to be talking about this. And if you're worried, because we're going to give you some phone numbers to call. If you're worried, if you want to call your legislator, we can help you out there that way. So we're going to get right to it. I got one of my, let me see what we have here. Yeah. Hi, Cheryl. I didn't see you there. I got a instant message today regarding, there was a post on Facebook regarding sick animals in Pittsburgh because I guess it'd be closer to the Beaver County border that are pretty close to where the accident happened. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to go ahead and show you that. So give me a second to pull it up. Go ahead and talk some more while I do that, Shawn.
Okay. So, and then what really irated me that Joe Biden is over in Ukraine giving them a crap load of money, and they're not giving no money to these people. Donald Trump actually had to step in and say, I'm going to go there. And then all of a sudden, FEMA decided to give them, what, $1,000 a piece?
That's ridiculous.
They also, that gas, that mustard, I'll call it mustard gas. That's the only way I know about it. They have to get rid of all their clothes. They got to get rid of all their beddings. They're not allowed to have it no more because it goes right into the cloths. And they can't do it. And $1,000 for a person to do that? It's bullshit. Then you had a train wreck up there. Who was the priest that got killed? Right?
Yeah, really.
And now they found a 18-inch pipe bomb behind the church next to a railroad track.
That
Okay.
Well,
so what are they
Yeah.
trying to do?
well, put it this way: as someone who married a woman from the Bridgewater Triangle, I will tell you, giant snakes can exist anywhere. Natural snakes can exist anywhere. Giant ones, like Ohio, they can go underground and hibernate during the winter. Like it's not that big a deal. So, I mean, it doesn't mean demons or devil or anything like that, but at least in my opinion.
Okay.
Well, there
But
seems to be a lot of
and
there was just how many wasn't there just another train wreck just not long ago? What was it?
down in Houston, I think it is down in Texas. There was also a big place where it caught on fire. A big plant. Yeah. Why? Where's Buttigieg? He's the transportation dude.
Oh, he's too busy. Isn't he busy with it? Is that the one with the kid? The baby?
I guess, yeah, he's a mayor out in Notre Dame or something, but he in Indiana. But he never once stepped foot near that place.
Well, here's the post that was on. This is one of the posts, and it says Charlie developed a limp yesterday after being outside. This came after uncharacteristic sneezing bouts yesterday and vomiting in the middle of the night. So I knew something was up. He tested positive for exposure to vinyl chloride and 2 other chemicals from the derailment. He's being treated. Please keep an eye on your pets. Use filtered water. Use an air purifier inside if you can. Maybe limit outside time and wipe them down before going back out. They live in Mars. Now, I noticed myself, and I live out in Westmoreland County, for the last couple days with all this wind, I can't breathe. My nose is completely running. Right now, I can feel it almost dripping from being outside. And it's kind of early for the allergy season, but it's all started when that train wreck and we got all the winds, and then people were talking about make sure you use an umbrella last week when we were getting that rain. And what kills me is President Biden went, like you said, he went to Ukraine. He gave money to them, billions of dollars to Ukraine and Poland, when he won't help the people here. We don't know the long-term effects that these people are having. They're scared. They're really scared, and they don't know what to do. And some of the people have health issues. So what are they supposed to do, Shawn? What are they supposed to do?
I don't know. They can't come over here into Pennsylvania, down in Pittsburgh area, because we're contaminated.
Yeah.
We really are. And what happened on was it your son's car? All that crap on his car.
Yeah, and I have some sound bites
my
while
car
you're talking.
too, Jen, same stuff was on my truck.
Oh, I saw posts about that on Facebook about like cars being covered in shit. Like it's ridiculous.
I mean, think about it. I mean, does anybody out there have any ideas what's going on? Can you come in and tell us?
Yeah, it's called population control.
I have a couple sound bites. I want you to hear. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Crystal clear.
So I called my mom and I had her.
We do it here.
There's a ton of smoke. And Sunday it was really
Can you
bad.
hear that?
Is this when they lit it up? No. This is before. So I called my mom and I had her come get the baby because I didn't want him to smell. We didn't know what was in it at that point. Still, kind of, And so we actually called our friend to come get our donkeys because I told my boyfriend, I said, they're going to evacuate us. When they realize how close we are, we're getting evacuated. And so we called the township and they said, go to East Palestine and see if you're within the evacuation. So I'm telling you, we are. Yeah. But we went there and they said, oh, well, you're from PA. And we were like, yeah, but you don't understand. This was right here. And when everybody was sitting at the table, we gave them the address. Everyone turned around and looked at us. They're like, oh. Right? So I told him, I said, we got to get everything together because they're going to evacuate us. This is serious.
They didn't evacuate them.
We have on this property of donkeys. We have 2 donkeys, 30 some chickens. We have 3 dogs in the house and 2 cats. How did the animals fare? They're fine. I mean, honestly, the chickens, I mean, you can see them there. Thank goodness. Yeah, the donkeys, like I said, we took them to our crowd. We took the dogs with us when we went, but the cats we left in the garage. We just shoved feed sacks under.
Now that was when it
The
happened.
chickens in the coop with food and hoped for the best. Right? What was it like when it all lit up? Well, we were evacuated because they came Sunday night around like 8:30, and the police came with the sirens, and they said, you got to go. The tank's heating up. It could blow any minute. You got to go. So we took the dogs and went across the road as far as we could go to a friend's house. And you could still smell it over there, but then they didn't. But Tuesday night, I think they exploded it. I was actually at my mom's with the baby, but Dad was over at our friend's house, and he said you just saw the cloud. You know,
Could you imagine seeing that big cloud?
No, I wouldn't. No, I'd be freaking out, Jen.
Yeah, it literally, from the pictures that I saw, it looked like a giant tornado coming. Right. So.
And tell me that it's okay for them to breathe that in.
I mean, besides friends, nobody. So no EPA, no FEMA, no Governor Shapiro,
Nothing.
no
No.
legislators, nobody. No health department, nobody. No. Darlington did bring us a piece of paper that said, call this number to get your well tested. But
Get your
so we
well
called the
tested.
number, and they're only helping people in Ohio. At that time, they said we weren't.
See, this person lives on the Pennsylvania border.
And the back of our property is 0.3 miles. So they basically pushed us off, and I called the DEP, and then, like 6 times before I finally got a call on Saturday that they will be here this week sometime. So, meanwhile, what are you doing for water and whatnot? For the animals, we're giving them the well water, but for us, I mean, we go to your options. That's what I mean. To get that much water in here daily for all of the animals, it's not feasible.
So that was a courtesy of the Wendy Bell show. She went down to East Palestine over the weekend, and that was on the Pennsylvania border.
Wow.
And they're not getting any assistance whatsoever. And she said the cloud was right there outside her house. She could see it. Now she has to worry about her well water, and just to make sure that her animals don't get sick. And it's like, what killed me is Aaron Brockovich said to make sure you take notes. Make sure you take notes. I was okay.
Aaron Brockovich.
It's like, what the hell?
I just watched that recently.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen in a couple years from now. You don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now.
I mean, as someone who owns dogs and chickens, I could fully sympathize with that. Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of which, I'm gonna go off camera for a minute and take my dogs out. But yeah, it's population control. That's my false theory. Is it's population control.
I totally believe that. They're trying to kill us. If it's not with that or mRNA vaccine.
I mean, I got my COVID vaccines, the first 2 at least. I didn't get no boosters, but I mean, I don't know what I believe about all of it. Whether they're trying to sterilize us so that population goes down or what. Like, the government's some sneaky shit, and I don't even think it's the president. I think it's everybody else around him.
Oh yeah, I think it's who he has working on the payroll, I guess.
Michael Anthony says that 5 million people may have to worry. And then you said Agenda 21. Have you heard of that, Jen?
No.
Agenda 21?
Agenda 21.
Agenda 21, yeah.
Please enlighten me.
They're trying.
I'm going to keep my headphones on myself camera, but yeah.
No, this is going into conspiracy theories, but you got the swab, and you got George Soros, and you got the New World Order, and they're trying to control the population, and Bill Gates wants to annihilate pretty much most of the population.
Why, Jen? Please help me understand.
Because they want a one, what do you call it? One currency, one world government where they want to be in control, and it's all the wealthy people, and they want to control us measly peasants. They put us on like, okay, you get your little check in the mail every month. You can't have any wealth. You're stuck. We all make the same, but the elite, they make all this money. They want to keep this all us on the same income, and we want to live in the same house. Like this exact you have the same amount of cars as I have, the same checkbook as I have. That's what they want to do. They control the population, and that's what they want to do. And some people call that a conspiracy. I call that fact of life. It's happening right now. They want to control us, and they already did control us with COVID. They controlled us. Yeah. You saw what they did. They locked us down. We let them do it. They closed the churches. We couldn't go to church.
Right.
I remember being devastated. It was around Lent. It was Easter. I couldn't go to church. I mean, that's the most important part of my religion, is that time during Lent and Easter. And we weren't allowed to go.
Right.
And I swear to God, if they ever try to pull that again, I swear I will get my arms and I will fight. I will not let them do that. They cannot do that again. And that's what they want to do. And that's what the New World Order is all about. They want to control us. And that's how they control us, by limiting our breathing. They're taking our air, just like this accident. I don't think it was an accident.
I don't either.
There was another train wreck that you said just a couple of days ago. And you said that they found that pipe bomb.
Yeah. But it wasn't. It was the priest that got murdered.
Yeah. Okay. Why did the
church?
It was the bishop? Wasn't it the bishop?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like, why? Like, what did he do? That was, we don't know. We know a lot of priests are bad, but what did this particular one do? What did he know that we didn't know, or what is he involved in that we don't know?
Right. Exactly.
We'd like to figure it out.
Now, I like where they placed that bomb right behind the church, which is right next to the train track. Now, here's my thinking. They put that pipe bomb there, right? Okay. Thinking that they were going to go after the church in which this bishop was in, but actually, I think they were going for the railroad tracks, because most of our stuff in the United States gets carried by train.
Yeah. And they don't have the regulations that most transportation have. And that's another thing we should be talking about. Why don't they have regulations? Why aren't they inspected more? Why? Why? I mean, this is 2023. This isn't like 1990. I mean, there should be some kind of regulations that they have to abide by, and they're not.
Right.
And I really do hope that, yeah, and the gangsters and thugs get out on. That's another. It's because everything's woke. Everybody's the woke society that they're so they want to do everything like let the gangsters out of. Don't let the guys that rape and murder your sister or brother for that matter. They're in jail and they're out the next day. What's going on?
Michael Anthony gave you a comment there, sweetie. He goes, "Bam! Now you're thinking. Keep thinking. It's bigger."
Seriously, I mean, it's just crazy. We have to do something about it. So,
right,
these things like somebody. I don't know where Jeremy is. He still there? Are you audio there, Jeremy?
Yeah, he's out there with his dog.
Like on Facebook, I got message. I mean, they took it off. Facebook took off. Somebody posted something about their pets dying in the Pittsburgh area, and it's not Ohio, from this contamination, this toxic, like you said, Agent Orange or whatever it is.
Mustard gas.
And they took it off.
But do they think we're stupid? Do they?
Maybe.
We're not stupid. We're not dumb. We know what
it's just got to be something we can do. And it's like, I know, like they said, talk to Aaron Brockovich, take notes. I mean, by then it might be too late. It might be too late by then. And then what? That's why we can't just sit still. That's why we just sit still and take it. Like my son lives really close to it.
And that kind of like concerned me.
I
It
hear
concerned me a lot. What's
what
that?
is all that background noise coming from?
Trust me, we're getting scanned now, sweetie. Michael Anthony said 200 plus mile radius of that issue is the circumference of how far that bullshit's going to go out there. Kevin O'Daugherty says the first casualty of this disaster was the truth. True.
Why don't you? I'm not really sure.
You want to say a little bit more about that, Kevin? Give us a little.
Yeah, if you want to give us a call in, please call in. We can put you on the show if you have any questions. That would be great. We can get you on the show. And if you want to explain that, what you're talking about, give us a call at 724-623-2296. Kevin, why don't you give us a call and you can explain it to us? Because I don't understand. And if you live nearby, if you live in the Beaver County area or somewhere close to the border, please give us a call too. You got two.
I got family that lives there, Jen.
You do?
Yes, I do. And
Oh, okay. What did they say, Shawn?
We really haven't been in contact with them, but I'm pissed. And that's it. And if they want to strike me from this damn show, fine. I don't care. But I'm pissed. And there has to be something that we can do. There has to be.
Well, we got to call our legislators. We got to call our senators. You got to call somebody, the Congress, to find out what can they do to help these people. I mean, come on. They can't give them all that.
Our senator's in the hospital.
Are you talking about
Fetterman? He's in the hospital.
He had no business. Fetterman had no business running for anything. His wife should be ashamed of herself for putting her husband through that. And she probably did it just for her own political gain. You know, she did it because she probably thought that maybe she can get something out of it.
I mean, look, Cheryl's right. All that shit went down into the Ohio River.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like I got one of them testers for the water, and I got that when COVID. I don't know if any of you watched What's in the Water. I think that's what it was. Watch the Water. When that documentary came out, I went out and got a water tester. But I've been testing my water, and they're keeping tabs on it. I mean, I can see that one day it was like there's like a scale. It goes from like 1 to 500. 500 being the worst. It's the red. And it's been about 115. The highest it went was 120, which is really good. So for contamination. So, and I also use I use my filters. So if you have a water filter, get one.
I'm just like, really, there is going to be a civil war. All hell's going to break loose.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen.
Now here's my question to you. Well, I do not believe that our U.S. Marines will fire upon an American or the Army or the Air Force.
I don't know.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
I do not believe that they could do it. I know if I was in the Marines or the Army, I know I couldn't shoot another American. Ain't no way. Yeah. No way.
Well, if it gets to that point, you know, I hope it doesn't get to that point of a civil war. But you know what? We can't just sit still. What is Michael saying?
Please don't say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please don't say that their technology will take us out in heartbeat. We will never defeat by holding a gun.
Then how do we defeat them, Michael?
Well, if I don't think they're going to be able to lock us down anymore. I don't think that we will, as a society, let them do that to us. I think we learned that we like our freedom too much. And I know, like I said, about going to church, telling me I can't go to church. That should have never. I told my priest this is crazy. This is last year, or maybe the second year that we were out of a lockdown. I can't remember when it was. Was it last year? 2021? I can't remember. I told my priest, I went to confession because I'm a Catholic, and I told him, I said, you priests should be ashamed of yourselves for not standing up and saying, no, we do not shut We do not shut the doors on a church. That's when people need you the most. Not, you know, I mean, that's when you need to go to church when something like this is happening. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get away with it, Michael.
Michael, do you want to tell us, our viewers, what the name of your show is so they can go check it out? I appreciate it, brother.
Michael, we're going to have you on the show too.
Oh, that's a 2-hour, 3-hour show.
We have next week we have, I do believe, Alien Con. I can't remember if he's going to, I tried to get him on this week. But I think he's scheduled for next week if I'm not. But we could have you on the show. We have a lot to talk about. And I wanted to get Mike Bear on the show.
Oh,
you
my
back
God.
in here, Mike Jeremy?
Yep,
You know
back.
Mike Jeremy?
Mike Barr or Michael Anthony?
No, Michael Anthony.
Sounds familiar. I feel like Michael, have you been on Parapost Network at all, like watching videos or whatnot? But I don't know. You sound familiar. The name sounds familiar, but then again, I mean, Michael Anthony is like,
Okay. His show is called America in Crisis. IN Crisis. America in
I think
Crisis.
I've heard of that show. I know I have.
Yeah, and we got to have him on the show, honest to Pete. In fact, I tell you what, I'll talk to our producers, see if I cannot change my time to 9 to 10 so we can have a 3-hour show with Michael. I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting. I'm telling you, it just.
And Michael, if you ever want to come Paranormal than Normal as well, just please hit me up. Jeremy Bryant on Facebook. Hit me up. I will gladly have you on as well.
Oh, Kevin O'Doherty says, I'm in the UK. What I mean is we will ever know the truth as to what happened here. I suspect the hidden hand of the state.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, the state controls everything, whether it's UK or US.
What does he feel about, since he's in the UK, how does he feel about that conspiracy that Prince William is the Antichrist?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. It's because they said the Antichrist has to come from royal blood. I was just throwing that out there. Kevin.
Well,
there's
Michael,
a lot of
just I'll hit you up, man. I'll find you on Facebook and hit you up. But
and then going back to Biden, how he got there when he went, they were saying that he going to Poland and Ukraine was something like they were comparing him to George Washington.
Oh God! Oh
Really?
God!
And here he is,
God.
Truman and Eisenhower. I was like, what? And Abraham Lincoln. They were comparing him for going to.
They're comparing Biden to Lincoln. Oh my God!
Wow, assholes.
CNN was.
It's funny because I had someone who wrote, I forget her name. Goddamn, I wish I didn't. But Suzanne Munson, I think, she wrote The Metaphysical Thomas Jefferson. She, through multiple appointments with a medium, she talked to Thomas Jefferson's spirit. And got his,
I'm sorry.
oh no! I mean, until I read parts of the book, I laughed at it too. I read parts of the book and I read what he said about a lot of the founding fathers and about current politics and everything. And I could believe it now almost. Because, I mean, basically because of the fact that he said Hamilton was not a song and dance man.
No, but Kevin Daugherty says, not familiar with that one. I know he's more the woman in that relationship than she is.
Is he referring to the prince or
yes,
the king?
Yes, the prince.
I don't know enough about UK politics to know that, but I mean, I'm friends with UK podcasters, and I mean they're more talking about how Prince, the one who just wrote the book, I'm forgetting his name,
Harry.
Yeah, Prince Harry. I mean, they're more talking about how he is a pedophile than anything right now.
Really? They're saying that?
About Prince Harry, yeah, that's why he went into exile.
Now, why are they saying that? Why are they saying he's a pedophile?
because that's why he went into exile, and that's why the royal family won't talk to him.
Well, I thought he went into exile because they didn't like his wife.
I mean,
I never heard anything about him being a pedophile.
Now she could be part of the Illuminati too. There, but
Yeah, he's
Well,
probably
I mean-
part of the.
Illuminati controls everything across. I mean, whether they're called the Illuminati or not, who knows? But as we know them, the Illuminati controls everything throughout all the world. I 100% believe that. There is whether you want to call them Illuminati, New World Order, take your pick.
Yeah,
There's-
Illuminati,
there's-
New World Order, probably the same thing.
Oh, Prince Andrew. Yeah, that's what it is.
Prince Andrew's a pedophile. He went to Epstein's Island.
yeah,
I mean, but
He was like, they caught him. These women, these girls, they came out and they.
I mean, the fact
That's
that
why he was kicked out of the royalty.
see Epstein was in our conspiracy bracket as well, and we talked about him for a while because the fact that Tom Hanks and beloved American figures were on his island's travel list is insane because Tom Hanks, I can't see that.
I can't see Tom Hanks.
I mean, Will Smith too. I think Will Smith too. But I mean, Bill Clinton, I can see. Bill Clinton, I can see.
Yeah,
because
Bill Clinton, of course, what he did, with Monica Lewinsky and all that.
Well, she wasn't young. She was
She was only 21. She was young.
She was only 21. Exactly. She wanted to make
She
it.
was
politics.
a baby.
But that's not being a pedophile. That's just being.
That's
taking
just
control.
being a pervert.
Exactly. Which I mean, I am fully the most perverted minded person you'll meet. But I mean, besides on a pedophile basis,
got to behave on here. Behave on here, buddy.
I am. But it's just the whole like Bill Clinton with Pizzagate. I could believe he maybe went to Epstein Island, but.
Yeah, possible.
You've heard of Pizzagate,
You
right?
cannot eliminate her
Pizzagate.
either.
That's what I was trying to get to, but I didn't want it because a lot of people find that too much of a conspiracy. Like that's what they were talking about, these rich people with the little child.
This is segment. Can we change the subject, please?
Of course. I mean, I didn't mean to bring it down that road. It's just
no. I'm not mad at you, Jeremy. I just
it's
when it comes to children, I can't deal with it.
Trust me, I have a 5 and 8 year old. I can't deal with it either. But
but I guess I don't know. But they also.
But anyways, if you have a question concerning the poisonous vinyl chloride or your pets, post in the chat.
Please
like I said,
please
if you happen to see that Facebook post, please post it or send it to us somehow. Or tell us.
Why would they taking the crap down? We got to get what's his name? Who's the one? Elon Musk to buy Facebook now. All right, so he can keep all this stuff up.
You can't post anything on. You know what? They were on my messenger. One time I sent you something, Shawn, and it said it was fact. It was untrue. Like, how did they go on my message? They went on my messenger.
Was that Facebook?
Yeah, I sent you probably last week. I went to send you something, and it said this is not true or fact.
So they have fact checkers on Facebook?
Our messenger, yeah.
Well, I mean, they definitely have them on Facebook because you see stuff on Facebook all the time, like posts that were proven not factual.
Yeah, this was this was on Messenger.
That's weird. I never heard of that.
Yeah, they spy on your messages. You can't say anything. You can't even say anything to Alexa or Siri because they spy on you.
Check this out. I just got a message from Cheryl, and she said she lost the show and she can't get back in.
Why?
Oh.
She lost her internet, and Anthony said that a little bit earlier. He said he don't know what's going on with his internet.
Well, we lost a lot of viewers in the last 5 minutes, but I mean, if they want to be that ridiculous and
well, put it this way. I tried out to be on a show called WT Freak Live with Emily something. I tried out to be in her show right when I started my own show. It didn't work, but she said her original show last year got taken down off the internet completely because she had Flat Earther on.
I love talking about the Flat Earthers.
I think it's the stupidest freaking conspiracy in the world. But
I believe it's a sphere.
it's the Earth cannot be flat. We have satellites. We have pictures. Like they're not making that up.
Well, they're not. I think they're basically saying the Earth is a sphere. Like it's not a flat. It's like a sphere. It's sort of like it looks flat, but it's not. Well, Hitler believed the Earth was flat. He went to Antarctica to find out that it, to see if it was. But they have that treaty there that we can't go to Antarctica, like to where the edge is, because there's a treaty. You're not allowed to go there.
No, you're
Because-
not.
Why can't you go to? Why can't you go there?
I'll tell you. I'll freaking tell you why you can't go to Antarctica. Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth.
And Antarctica is where one of the main entrances to Hollow Earth is.
Okay, now what is hollow Earth? Because I don't know what that means.
Hollow
What is-
Earth is all right. Well, you know how on the East Coast and on the West Coast, especially, there's huge cave systems,
Mm-hmm.
and there's also the missing 411
Mm-hmm.
people. So, Hollow Earth is
Oh
a
yeah,
theory
we know
that
about that one.
Hollow Earth is a theory that, like, kind of like they touched on in Kong Skull Island and like the whole universe of that movie series now, where Hollow Earth is that Earth is hollow, and there's ways to get to the center of the Earth, like Journey to the Center of the Earth, written by Jules Verne. Could have been based on reality.
Okay.
That's because I'm sure you've heard of Macaulay Mbembe and other living dinosaurs on Earth, whether it be the raptors in Peru that a group of natives worship, or the thunderbirds / pterodactyls in the southwest of America.
Yeah, I believe in the Thunderbirds.
Where do all these things come from? And how do they stay hidden? And where do all the Bigfoot and Dogmen live? If there's
So
many
where? So you're telling me that Hollow Earth is in Antarctica?
one of the main entrances to Hollow Earth is in Antarctica, and that's why the government won't let us go there, is because that's where one of the main entrances is. And I mean, if you know Marvel Comics, they did an idea where Antarctica is a savage land where dinosaurs, and it's basically a prehistoric jungle in Antarctica once you get far enough in. So what if that's reality? What if that's where all these living dinosaurs come from, is the Hollow Earth, and we see them once in a while when they come up looking for food or something? Like,
Could be.
I mean, that's my second favorite cryptid is Macaulay Mbembe, because it's been seen in the Congo for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's basically a brontosaurus that's turned kind of carnivore, but it's just, it would make sense because it's supposedly Native Americans made treks through these cave systems as part of a spiritual journey, and they're the only ones to ever go in and go far distances. Current modern Americans haven't tried, and I think it's because the government doesn't want us to.
Mike, sounds like it. I mean, it sounds really interested. What is
I
This
mean-
is the,
Artha?
are there books written on this, Jeremy?
Off the top of my head, I can't name any, but I wouldn't doubt it for one damn bit. I mean, go on Amazon and Google it. I'm sure you can find it, but I mean, or just Google it in general, and I'm sure you can find it. But it's just, the Hollow Earth is right up there with Flat Earth. I mean, I believe in Hollow Earth way more than I could ever believe in Flat Earth. But Hollow Earth seems logical, because where are all these missing 411 going? And yes, back to Pennsylvania, the idea of dragons, the idea of dogmen being around these mines. Because that's where in Pennsylvania a lot of these dogmen are spotted. It's around the mines, and there's stories in Pennsylvania of people going into the mines and never coming back out.
There's a video. I want to play it. It'll talk about it. Let me see if I can get it on here. Okay, explained. Okay, let me pull it up. Because it sounds interesting. I'd like to learn more about this Hollow Earth.
I can't believe you never heard of it. It's a huge.
I never
paranormal-
did. I have never heard of it.
I mean, we talked about it on Global Strangeness. I talked about it on Paranormal. It's a huge conspiracy.
Okay, let's play it.
June 13th, 2014. Scientists researching the Earth's mantle announce that they have found what they believe to be a vast body of water, 3 times the volume of all of our oceans combined, contained within a mineral layer 400 miles inside the Earth. The discovery shakes the foundation of what scientists and scholars thought they knew about the ground under our feet.
We have just scratched the surface of the Earth. We drilled down like 8 miles and we had to stop because it got too hot. Out of 4,000 miles, basically, to the core of the Earth, we went down 8. That's nothing.
We have more than 70 active space programs right now. We can tell you more about the surface of the moon than we can the surface underneath our own oceans.
Since
That's bullshit too, but yeah.
far enough to
What's
confirm
that?
these findings,
So that's bullshit too, but yeah.
we may be wrong about the composition of our
So you
own
don't
Earth.
think that's what
Some
they're talking
ancient
about?
astronaut theorists
I'll
say
get into the moon after this.
and suggest that according to our earliest mythologies, an other Earth might
So
not be
they're
found
saying
in the
the hollow
heavens,
Earth is
but
another
deep
Earth.
within our own planet.
Yeah, and you
One
know
of the
what?
most
That sounds like it'd be
consistent
pretty
theme-
cool if that was it. You know?
I mean, okay, well, as far as the moon goes, I believe the moon landing really happened, but
Turn it off.
there's a reason the astronauts' faces looked the way they did during that press conference after. There's a reason the feed cut for a good matter of minutes. They saw something on the moon that other extraterrestrials didn't want us to see.
Well,
And
So you
I believe the moon's hollow. I believe it's a Death Star.
So you don't
like-
believe that there's a moon base?
Oh, I believe it's hollow. I believe it's like a Death Star type thing that some extraterrestrial species has been living in for thousands of years and studying Earth and waiting for us to develop enough to the point where they need to worry about us.
Well, That's something. I know Mike Bear believes that there's moon bases and there's like little statues. Of
I just saw a picture on Facebook the other day of supposedly two pictures of an extraterrestrial on the moon taken by satellites. And I can 100% believe it. They shot a missile at the moon and it vibrated for 11 minutes.
What was that about? Why were they shooting up the moon? What was the purpose on that?
to test out their missiles. But it vibrated for 11 minutes, which tells me it's hollow. It's a Death Star, for lack of a better metaphor, like base. And it's extraterrestrials have been using the moon forever. There's a reason we haven't gone back there. There's a reason that Neil Armstrong and Glenn, whatever his name was, and all the other ones looked terrified when they did the press conference at the end. And it's either because they saw something that scared the literal hell out of them, or the government scared the hell out of them by saying you can never say what you saw. Though now multiples of them have come forward before they died to say they saw something.
Well, that's a possibility. I think it's fairly fascinating. I'm going to learn more. I'm going to do some more research on this hollow Earth. I think it's pretty neat.
We did a whole episode of Global Strangeness too on the moon landing.
What was that?
Yeah,
John?
I'm sending you stuff from Michael, his show. That's me sending. I'm going to send you something else too.
For later?
From Michael. For Michael, yeah. Well, if you can post the show if you could do that, please. Yeah, American Crisis. If you can post that. He's sharing videos.
And
we
one
have
of these
to get him on. Honest to Pete. That's the name of his show.
I understand it. This
and
okay. So this is for us for another show or what?
Yeah,
I'm
for us
confused.
for another
What do you
show
want me to
and show other people for Jeremy down here because he wants to get him on his show. You know,
I'm messaging him now actually.
Okay. So I don't know. It's just like really, really crazy. I'm gonna have to read up on that hollow.
Yeah,
Earth.
that sounds really interesting. We should
Do you
a
know
show.
people who talk about that, Jeremy? Do you have names?
Not necessarily. I mean, I heard about it through other podcasts that just randomly talked about it, and we delved into it on Global Strangeness a little bit when we talked about living dinosaurs, because that was one of the first episodes. That was my idea, was living dinosaurs, because I'm Macaulay Mbembe. But Hollow Earth has become a big theory, especially since the whole Universal monsters world that is out there now with Godzilla and Kong. Like they really use that theory for those movies, and I feel like they're touching on something that people don't know exists.
Okay.
And we,
That would be
Michael and
really
us,
interesting.
Michael and us have the same intro music of my old show. That's kind of weird.
See, my intro music was originally Insane Clown Posse. Now it's Avantasia. But yeah, I'm a juggalo first and foremost, so you know.
I don't know, guys. So my question to everybody here, what do we do? What do we do?
Well, we're living in a matrix, so I mean, I say we just keep living life as it is, and hopefully one day we get unplugged from the matrix and see what's real. But
Oh no, it's not. It's just it's the music on StreamYards. Okay, I was just trying to figure out where I heard that before.
What do you think, Jen? What do we do?
Cry.
Why would
I don't know about the what do we do about what's going on, and
everything?
all we can do is pray and try. If you want to make change, you could either write to your congressman.
But like I said, he's in the hospital.
Well, write to your state legislators. There's other people we can write to.
Do you honestly think that a state legislator can go up against Biden, his cronies?
No, or make sure you vote in the next election and try to get one of these Republicans in office.
Trump 2024.
I don't know who it's going to be.
agree.
I don't know if it's going to be. Could be
Trump.
It could
It's going to be Trump.
DeSantis. Or
You don't
it
think
could be-
DeSantis will win? I like Trump.
What's the other woman's name that's running?
Trump.
Chelsea Galber,
All right.
and the other one, the UN girl.
As much as I hate to say it, a woman is not winning the primaries for anything in this day and age. As much as I hate to say it, I would love to have a woman president. I really would, but because I think it would change a lot of things. I think we'd find out about a lot more paranormal things that we need to know about.
This is Mike's his podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just sent me that picture.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check him out.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's like a brother almost.
He does 4 podcasts apparently. He told me.
Yeah.
And
That's you, Betty.
I do 3, so I can definitely be right there with him. I used to do 4. I used to do 6 at one point, but it was too much, and the ones that weren't making it just kind of fell apart. But it's just I've talked to mediums that have actually said that they see Trump making a comeback in 2020.
Well, I'm not going to vote for Trump. Sorry.
I didn't vote for him the first time because I just moved to Massachusetts and I wasn't registered yet. But
check this out. Kevin says from in the UK, we've had 3 women prime ministers. They're just as bad as the men.
Well, yeah, I mean Margaret Thatcher. We all know that story, but it's just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would never mind a woman president. I would never mind any. I am not against any race or sex being president, 100%. But I think Trump did a good job, and he
did a good job. But I don't like how he did not come out and say that the vaccines were bad. And the vaccines are bad. You have to do research on go to VARs. Go to the vaccines have caused a lot of people's deaths, and it's going to come back. It's going to come out. You'll see.
Oh,
and I think he should have said that those vaccines, Pfizer is doing a job, and they're just out to get us. And I think, and you know what's freaky, that Grammys with the horns, the red devil costume, and it said brought to you by Pfizer. Okay.
Well, I mean, you don't think they put that there as a joke, but
no,
I mean,
well,
I think it's really
no, I know that, and I told Jenny this, and I got the Moderna shot, and it really, really screwed in my body for over a year.
Yeah, and they're just coming out with you'll see there's a lot of babies that were aborted. There was a lot of babies that got sick. There's people, young people who got sick, strokes, cancers. Their cancers came back. I mean, blood clots in the brain.
I mean,
there's so many. Watch the documentary.
oh, I believe it.
I forget what it's called.
I believe it. I mean, the vaccines and COVID itself, I 100% believe, were population control.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whether it be Illuminati, New World Order.
Oh, we're to get the federal. We're going to get the FBI on our asses after this show. You watch. They'll be knocking on my door in the morning.
Yeah, but we're going to have to call it quits for tonight. Thank you, Jeremy. I want to make sure everybody checks out my new radio show podcast called
It's a good podcast.
No. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about narcissisms, how to spot a narcissist before they ruin your life, and the headlines. We're going to talk about the headlines too. So check us out tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you all there. And
Good night,
Shawn,
everybody.
what's your show on tonight?
It's going to be a continuation of East Palestine, Ohio, and how I feel.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So, everybody, I'll see you later, alligator. Okay, how do we get out of here?
Bye, everyone.
Peace out.
Peace out. I can't find our ending, John. I never can find. Where the heck does it always fall by? I'll just play the music until I can find it, anyways. You know? Like, okay.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. I still can't find it.
Enjoy living in the Matrix.
That's what I feel like. I'm in the Matrix. It's like, what the heck is it?
You hit end recording and broadcast the top.
There's too many. What do you call it?